my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black and white, it's my black and white, it's my black and white scarf.
It's like we've never been away. You're joking. We forgot to press every single button we should have. Hello, and you're very welcome to the Townhead podcast. Back for the season finale for this crazy season that was 2025. We'll have a quick chat with Gally. Gally, how are you, pal?
Good evening. On a Wednesday. What day of the week are we? Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Everything feels weird. Even doing this again feels weird. We got too used to live shows and everything else, Gally. Look, we just said we'd just jump back on, and always at the end of the year on our season finale, we wheel out Gallys Big Wheel of names for everyone who took part in our player sponsorship at the start of the season. Of course, this was for Owen Kenny's home jersey for this season. So there we have it. So that is ready to rock. We will do that at the end of this show.
What a cracker.
Gally, where do we even start? When we look back on this season, what's your overall feelings on it?
Are we talking about the start of the season or from what's happened since the end of it?
I'll let you go.
There's probably been as much drama. It isn't Dundalk these days with off the field drama towards the end of the season, no matter what happens, whether it's relegation, whether it's promotion, title winning, there's always a bit of drama at the end. I mean, look, we said it at the Spirit Stone, we had the lads on. It's been probably a whirlwind season in many ways because, you know, it's one of them where you get relegated. You know, the issue we had last year with the club on the verge of closing, did we want to even get promoted on the first go? Of course we did. I mean, in your heart of hearts, you wanted to get promoted. You know, could we sustain promotion is the next question. Now, can we stay in the league? That's probably the biggest question. No matter who we sign, no matter what backing we get, no matter what owner we have, no matter what pitch we get in, you know, staying in the Premier Division is the most, and it's going to be as important as getting out of the First Division, just to simply stay in the Premier Division. So it definitely gives you a bit of a boost. It gives us, just sitting here every Friday night, a bit of a boost to come on, and now we're back in Premier Division. You know, we're back in Premier Division level. And that's no disrespect to what's going on. The First Division teams we've played, it's been an absolute brute of a season. You know, we've had a new signing in today as well, we mentioned in a minute, but, you know, we get back to Premier Division football where we should be. And, you know, the Premier Division probably hasn't been the same without us, let's face it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all delighted now that we're back in. Maybe they'll be delighted now when they start to see work finally being done on Oriel Park. I mean, it felt like the end of the season just went on and on and on, didn't it? Because you think back to our live show in the Spirit Store, seems like a lifetime ago now.
6 months ago, yeah.
Following everything else then that happened after that, you know, where the two owners kind of needed to, I suppose, have some sort of a breakthrough talks between themselves. John came back on with ourselves again to get his side across, because obviously there was a public story in the newspapers, and they come to some sort of an agreement. I suppose Chris Clinton is now the majority stakeholder in Dundalk Football Club.
Yep.
And really, to be fair, since then we've seen a massive push on. You know, we this week we see the old pitch in Oriel Park being ripped up. We've seen Chris Clinton have meetings with the likes of the Dundalk SC Trust to get them on board. Obviously, that ended up being a massive help to get the down payment for the pitch work to begin as well. So, like that, if Chris comes in and mends a lot of bridges like that, I suppose it's a real good sign, isn't it?
Yeah, and in fairness to previous owner, you know, he'd mentioned at the Spirit Store the pitch would be ripped up. But what Chris has the advantage of now is that he's come in and hit the ground running. He's come in there's never a right time to come in, I suppose. It's not nice to change the owner every 6 weeks at this stage up to Dundalk in the last couple of seasons. But, you know, he's hit the ground running. He's carried on, you know, whether people agree with the previous owner, whatever they think of him is irrelevant. You know, what's the promise is made. Chris has now carried that on. The pitch is a massive thing. Like, think the idea was we're supposed to rip it up last year. I think they probably got away with it because they didn't play first division football, because they only played first division football. And look, we can talk about the stadium, but the pitch was always a big thing, because if you're looking at signing quality footballers, you're going to have a surface that manages the expectations of that player. You know, if it's an old pitch, it's an old Astro pitch, there's nothing beneath it. It's worn. Players going to risk injury. You don't really want that. You end up paying more medical bills than you do wages. You don't want that on your back. You want to sign young players in that, you know, are going to obviously buy into the philosophy of the club, but they want to play on a surface that's, you know, brand new, or as good as grass can be without actually having grass. And you know, the lads have a bit of a wait now to get the pitch in. The boys are flat out since Monday morning. The Loud School Girls League had the privilege, they'll get them in, to get the privilege of playing the last of the matches on Sunday. So it's always a nice wee take from that game as well. We didn't rip anything up, we didn't take anything, there's nobody panic. But
that was just Jimmy Fisher taking the centre circle.
But it's, you know, I think the big thing probably with the change of ownership is that the management has stayed in place. You know, like we I think we posted on social media ourselves, rightly or wrongly at the time, that Kieran Gilduff had left the job, he'd moved on. You know, and all the talk was that or down the east coast of Waterford were looking for him, and that was all the spin that was on Twitter at the time. Chris Clinton has come in, everything's kind of been sorted as best it can be, and Kieran Gilduff hasn't gone anywhere, and that's as big as anything. You know, I think. You know, even if we had a change of manager and we went and got a top manager in the league, it wasn't going to be the same. You want that consistency from last season. You want what the players have bought into. Why we've had the Abe Evans, why we've had the Darren Hoggins, the Minogues. You know, why Vinnie Leonard has progressed the way he has. You want that mental attitude on the sideline. We keep talking about Gilduff, Ken, Kieran. You know, you want these boys on the sideline for next season as well to get the shot that they deserve, that have taken us back into the Premier Division. And once we got that sorted, and now we're on about the pitch. And everything seems to be a wee bit. Yes, there's news and there's all this kind of cracking on at Orioles. It never changes at Oriole Park, but now we've got a bit of a focus, and it's not a focus on, you know, first division football. It's a focus for Premier League and Premier Division, and you know, it should give everybody a massive lift. You know, you've seen this week, even you mentioned yourself that the trust, you know, have come in. Even that alone is a boost to see them being engaged with. You know, it's not that they weren't there, it's not that they went anywhere, they were there in the background, they just weren't maybe been talked about, maybe for a personal thing I don't really know, but I don't want to get into that. But the fact that they have been engaged brings everybody back on side. You know, you'd expect their membership now to go through the roof, you know, after the last couple of days of what we've seen on social media. And that brings that buzz back to Oriole Park the way it should be. And, you know, it's lights up then for the start of the season for Premier Division. Our pre-season will be, you know, I don't want to start with the pitch going in, but, you know, you should be getting...
I think they're hoping to have it laid by Christmas, so it'll probably be, if we're doing anything. I remember, God, it must be around this time last year, was it, where we had our chat with Kieran again in the Lily White? And they were trying to assemble some of their squad again and get assessments and everything else in on players and give them schedules to work on over Christmas. So you're probably hitting that time, and that's probably going to have to be in an alternative venue now, you'd probably say.
I would think just so that time to bed it.
Exactly. So, and you would say probably when they come back then after Christmas, then they'd be able to train on the new surface, and that probably gives them an opportunity to get the lights situation sorted. And I haven't heard an update on that just yet, but obviously there's you know, I think it will be the new LED lights, but it's probably the distance, I think, to the pitch is the catch on that one. Whether the pylons can be used or not. So it'll be interesting to see. And once the pitch is laid, then I suppose that's the next big infrastructural project for Oriole Park. And you would say if the wheels are in motion for that, obviously everything is happening with the pitch now. They were the two big questions everyone had, you know, when wondering about a Premier Division license. You feel a lot more hopeful for the whole thing, you know, when you start seeing the likes of Harvey being announced, you know, as a new player. You start to get those new season vibes very quickly, and gives you an air of optimism about the whole thing. Yeah, and you know, a signing like Harvey Warren, you know, young centre back from the first division. You know, the lads obviously have seen what's in the first division, the talent. They're not necessarily going, right, we need to go and grab lots of experience in the first division. Yes, you get a mix in a few. We have Premier Division winners, you know, never mind experience in our team already. But it's good that we're getting in, you know, young, you know, hungry players who want to progress, who want to maybe, you know, step up to the next level. And we now offer that. Whether, like,
if we didn't get promoted, would a Harvey Warren sign for Dundalk? Probably not, because somebody else would have grabbed him. He's coming with us to the Premier Division. We're going up a level. We're all going up a level. And it's great that we're getting it done. I know we're not, astronomically early, but I mean, like you say, at this time last year, there was a couple of re-signings in the bag. Training was based on a lot of youth players, like Ken alluded to. So now we're kind of looking at, right, let's get these lads in. We're hoping these are the main ones in early doors, so the lads can go and have the Christmas now without working for players over the Christmas period. We get all it done, the main group of what you want. We're looking at, 2-3 weeks ago, we're looking at Vinnie Leonard playing an under-17s World Cup. Do you have a Vinnie Leonard for 2026? It's one of them, you don't know. And it's good that they're getting covering on the off chance that, Vinnie departs and goes somewhere else, as let's be honest, we probably expect him to do, because he's such a top talent. Another year of him would be like a new signing. But again, we started early, working from the back, playing from the back, first signing as a defender. It's great to see, and it's good to see young, 2021, plenty of experience last season playing for Bray. So it's great he's going to make the step with us and into Premier Division football, into the Dundalk jersey next season.
Of course, scoring against us twice in Oriel Park as well. You'd hope that. You'd hope that
Tom O'Connor won't forget him in a hurry.
That's for sure. Tom definitely won't. But you'd hope that he can, if he can find his scoring boots at Oriel Park like that, regularly like that as well, it could be a nice addition, because it's one thing we did see from this year that Vinnie Leonard and before Sean Keogh departed, we seen him be able to contribute a few goals and stuff like that. So goal scoring centre backs is always something we talked about in the pod from way back when in Stephen Kenny's era was definitely a facet of that team. And it's good.
We won leagues on the back of goal scoring centre backs.
So it's good that last year we probably was the first year we got back to that. Yeah, exactly. You just hope that we can kick on from that. You'd hope probably from there now the club can kick off, and probably a few more, even whether the re-signings or whatever is probably what you're looking for, a few new signings in the door. There's, if you were to chase every link you see out there, at the moment we're linked with everybody and anybody from that's kind of out of contract around the league at the moment. So it's hard to know exactly where to go. But based on last year, you'd probably trust Kieran and Ken's plan for this club, because last year they got that mix absolutely perfect for the first division, and you'd have the same confidence to be able to put together a competitive squad is really what we're looking for.
Yeah, that you can't. I was going to say beggars can't be choosers. I don't think we're in the begging bowl. I think we're going to be very well structured. But the lads, got it bang on last year, like you say. I mean, they couldn't have got it any better. The mix was right. The minutes people played each week, the subs, the amount of players that they brought in, they probably brought the right amount in. Look, a couple of injuries during the season, like with Leo Gax and things, but they brought in JJ Wilson, and like these were shrewd operating signings, and the lads knew what they wanted, and I don't see any different now. Yes, they'll probably miss out on a few. They'll probably have 3 or 4 top players, and then a list behind that. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think they'll go too far wrong. With the way we played last year, with the setup we have now. The new pitch, you'd like to think that it sings to a couple of people and it calls out to them, and maybe you might get a few. Look, I don't know if we get higher end Premier Division players, but it's still Dundalk at the end of the day. Like a well-run Dundalk football club is as good as anything in the country, and unfortunately we just had a few years where it just hasn't been right for us. And if you can get that right, with the trust coming in, the supporters, you get the back into the town. Look, it's never been not there. You'd hope the lads, provided they don't change too much. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll lose the run of themselves going Premier Division. I think the lads will be very structured, very cautious.
I think so. Yeah.
But they'll know what they want. There's no doubt about it. They'll know what they want. Looking forward to seeing who we get in. And obviously, like you said, the re-signings, they're like new signings. I mean, if you your Ray there and your Hoggans, look, Vinnie Leonard, Mayo, they're obviously the ones you want to, there's not many that you're going to say. We said this earlier in the season. There's not many that you'd be thinking. You're probably surprised that maybe Parashif. McHale was on loan, never really from Pats, never really hit the ground. A couple of injuries, but Parashif for me was probably a surprise. I don't know why. I don't know the ins and outs, but that was probably the surprise of the lot for me. Would have loved to see him come to the Premier Division because I think he'd be there with somebody. But that's probably a pity. But I mean, look, the lads have probably backed for that. They probably got a plan for that situation.
Yeah, I wonder if Andy Parashef came down to minutes opportunities that he was going to get next year. Maybe he backed himself elsewhere. Looking at the two Vaughns, we never got to see the best of Ethan Vaughan just with his injuries. Obviously came in, played a bit at the latter end of the season, last few fixtures. Rowan Vaughan looked like an absolute baller. There's definitely some raw talent in that lad. Knows where the back of the net is. Just unfortunate, that's the thing with loans, isn't it? You get to see these players, see them develop, and then unfortunately he's gone back to QPR. But probably just when we needed an injection of something up front, he came in with something completely different, a bit more of the directness and the power that we used to have from the likes of a Patrick Hoban. You could see that those sort of elements and the way he's built and stuff like that as well. It was very different to anything else we had last season.
Yeah, and it's again, like you say, we're used to seeing that kind of power up front. And it's not that we missed it last year or such. We had Ruby and Ebby and Owen, but when you're used to watching a Pat Hoban in full flight for years, even before that, Curtis Bones, similar kind of power, bit of strength about him, and
Davy Mack.
The thing about Vaughan and the low, it's like a Zach Johnson. He's come in, he's done really well, and now the chances are probably somebody else, maybe in League 1 or looking from League 2, something like that. I mean, if the option came up, I suppose, to get him on loan again, I say the lads would take it. But look, it's a pity. I think it's somebody. I think in Premier Division, I think we're going to need a player like that, an option off the bench like that. Now, look, again, maybe we've somebody else in the locker to come in. I'm sure the boys knew that this was always a chance to go back with a loan signing, like you say. But it's a pity. Yeah, I think he definitely could have been one that we maybe keep on. You hear rumours of different players that are at the club, moving on to pastures new, and it'd be interesting to see where we go up top from because if you listen to the rumours, it's only Owen Kenny at the minute that we might be able to hang on to. But again, look, it's all media. It's all, we don't know what we're dealing with. But I'm sure the lads have a plan for it. I would have loved to see someone like Vaughan stay in. Again, look, maybe it comes up again in January, February. They'll get the move. Maybe in a transfer window in England, you don't know. But it's a pity. I think he could have suited the game, especially Premier Division. I think he could have suited the game well. But look, that's like you say, that's the problem. That's the issue with a loan signing. You just don't know.
Yeah. And you're in different seasons and stuff like that as well. It doesn't suit as much as well. And like I say, we lost out with the two Zacks previously and signings like that. But you'd like to see if, based on that, it looked like we gave, Rowan the opportunity. He came in, he was able to showcase his ability. You'd like to think hopefully that's strengthened some sort of a relationship maybe between QPR and ourselves. That there might be an opportunity to get other players down the line.
Yeah, and we've seen, you've seen a lot of clubs in League of Ireland. Yeah, a lot of clubs in League of Ireland that have utilised loan signings. I mean, obviously got a connection with the Drogheda, Walsall, things like that. We had it with Reading a couple of years ago. When I say a couple of years ago, it's over a decade ago. One of them is
Carl McHugh back in it.
Signed for Sligo. Yeah, what a player. I kind of loosely followed his career. I don't say I followed, but I seen him, pop up on Sky Sports with goals or playing for Bradford. What a player he turned out to be. But again, India or something. Get a bit of a relationship going. Young managers, maybe. Yeah, Indian League. Yeah, I think he might have played. Did he go from England to Scotland to the Indian League? Then look, he's definitely been around the block. But League of Ireland, he should be. It's Sligo. It'd be great to have him back in Royal Park. Hope he gets a good whack because he had a great season when he was here. But you'd like to think we can utilise that. Like I say, we got a Blackrock connection there and captain of QPR as well, so he won't be long singing off.
Exactly.
But if you can get a link with a club for loan, I think the loan 10 years ago you probably didn't see a lot of loans in League of Ireland. Now it's you're practically relying on one or two a season. Even the best of the best are relying on it, and I think we have to utilise it well. Additions that we don't need marquee signings or crack players in that can us. So yeah, look, it's scouting programs, being in contact. So I don't envisage just being short a player or anything like that. I think the boys will know exactly right. Well, they would have a plan for such and such come back or players leaving, and Parashef being the perfect example. We need to sign a player with that ability. I'm sure the boys have already thought of that already.
Yeah, you could probably you'd be here all day if you were to chase down every possible link or player, and that's been it. It's fair to say. It's fair to say there's probably, we are going to see, if you look at the players that's left there, like I say, even just to backfill everything that's there, you're going to see a fairly big overhaul of this team as it is. So you'd expect a right few signings coming in and out over the next few weeks. In particular, you would probably say as well. So it'll be a busy time. Should we do what we're all here to see, Gally? in your wheel of names.
Yes, let's get it on. Right, if I hit this button, I do this every year. If you record this bit, you'll hear me repeat myself for the 5th year in a row. So if I hit this here, boom, here we go.
This is the fun that everyone just joins in for this bit alone, Gally, just to see you sweat and be worried every year.
This is where the season is made. Chris, I need a number between 1 and 5.
1 and 5, 4.
Give us a number between 1 and 5. Yeah, 4. So we need 4 shuffles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are spinning. Best of luck, folks.
This music. Oh man.
What are the chances?
No way. No way, Mark.
Where is he in the world?
Oh, he said
Get him
we're
on
my
the
buddy
podcast.
Valentine.
Where is he in the world?
He was in London, so maybe
Mark Carolan.
Mark, if you're still
the Globe Trotter.
He was watching at one stage.
You have won yourself a fantastic. Who needs news and you two on tour in Vegas? Who needs all that?
Oh, that is
in Glasgow. You're only over the road. Fly in.
Yeah.
Well
there you go, Mark. There's another one for the studio.
Fan of the show. I don't know if anybody knows him.
Brilliant.
That'll be front and centre on the Spurs show next season.
That is part of it.
Did you like my tunes?
Part of the show, and I love it. I hope we're not done for copyright with the Dukes of Hazzard.
There's definitely going to be questions. There's definitely going to be a Stewards inquiry in that, Mark. That's up there. That's next level. The Donald Hanks. You know, that's just up there.
We're not every year. There's controversy around this. That's part of the lure.
There's always controversy.
Of this whole thing. Gally, I presume we will be able to take somewhat of a hiatus. I think hopefully the majority of the emergency pods or whatever else we were kind of doing over the past while is mostly past for now.
Hopefully there's no more emergency pods,
yeah. And everything's gone, but it does give us an opportunity just to thank everyone for the season as well. Thanks, obviously to Mark, to Donal and to Vinny in Tony's Pizzeria, for Dundalk Village, and for Black Mountain Studios for all their help throughout the year. In particular, Mark for all his help in the live show. None of that would be possible without him. Thanks for everyone who was able to come as well to the show. One thing that we actually forgot to announce, so on that night in particular, we were, I suppose, gathering up any extra funds that come in from everyone coming in, and we wanted to donate it to Head in the Game. So we were actually able to donate €200 to Head in the Game, which is brilliant as well. So look, we'll definitely, I think anyone that was at the show enjoyed it as well. If you weren't there, don't worry about it. Jerry recorded most of it for you, and you would have seen it that way. Jerry's barred from the show now, by the way. But thanks to Nita up in Oriel Park, and to Karen as well for organising the jersey for us. Thanks to Owen Kenny, I suppose, as well, for coming on board to be our town ender again this year. Something we'll definitely get involved in next year once more. I think this will be the 6th year. Am I right? Did we do it from season 1 on this?
6. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We had a year where there was two of them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
could have been the first season of that. So look, it's something we'll definitely continue on for the years as well.
Yeah, Mark Hanratty, yeah.
That's right. So look, it's something we'll definitely continue on for next season again, if everyone's happy to get involved. So that's normally one of the first communications from ourselves for the show and stuff like that as well. Is who we get in behind for next year. So hopefully Owen's there and we can continue on the partnership a little bit more as well would be great. But thanks to everyone for watching, listening, or whatever way you've got the pod throughout the season as well. It's fair to say with everything that's happened this year, in particular at the end of the season, this has been somewhat of a record season for us here on the pod. Just with all the interest in everything going on, it's, numbers off the charts. We really would prefer that never to be the case. We don't like the controversial element of everything that was going on in Oriel and that to be driving the views and listens to the pod. But look, hey, it helps the numbers too. But we definitely much prefer the easy going and just talking about the results and whatever else, the football side mostly of Dundalk Football Club. So hopefully next season, that's what we're back to doing again. Hopefully we'll have Vinny on board with the pizza for another season, so we'll put that offer out to him there if he's happy to come on board for another season on that again. Gally, is that everyone? Have I remembered to thank everyone?
We have training that.
I think so.
I think that's everyone. And Mark Carlin for all his efforts, and then we've definitely going to get in trouble here. There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt. We definitely will. Well, if that is pretty much us. As I say, just keep across our socials. We'll keep everyone updated in what's happening. But hopefully we'll be back for another season of this. We'll go once again on it. And I suppose until then, come on to 10.
My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white. Yeah, it's black and white. We're just black and white. It's my black